Hey Clear Lake peeps, Ross Englund here with Clear Lake Guide Service for your fishing report for the weekend leading into Memorial Day weekend, but this report is for 5/26/2022. Hope you all are doing well. Hope that you all have a safe, sane, and fun upcoming Memorial Day weekend. So, changes around here. I'm coming to you Tuesday afternoon, and that's because don't know whether I'm going to work Wednesday or not. And I've had 4 days on the water since our last report. I figured that's good enough information for you, even though things are changing a bunch. What's been changing is more the weather. It's just been all over the board. I mean, today, Tuesday afternoon, is 93 degrees here in Lakeport. You can imagine what that means. That means that there are algae blooms all over the place. There's been algae blooms down at the extreme ends of both the redbud and rattlesnake arms. Those of you who've been down there have seen it. I've seen pictures of it. I know what it looks like. I know what it smells like. And it's just that time of year. So water temperature, long sunny days, hot water. It's a perfect cauldron for cooking soup, which we call algae up here. So speaking of water temperatures, I'm going to give you this report just to kind of give you an indication of how things have changed during the last 4 days of being on the water. One was the morning lows. Water temperature was starting out at the 59, 60 range over at the county park in Kelseyville and also at Lakeport, 5th Street launch ramp. This morning it was 64, 65 at the launch ramp at 5th Street. And then for highs, I saw 74 today, so it's cooking. And it probably varies all over the lake depending on which part of the lake that you're actually fishing or in. So, I mean, I expect to see a very wide range of temperatures. But the important thing is, it looks like most of the morning lows are going to be in the 50s, high 40s, low 50s, which means the lake's not going to cool off very much at night anymore, especially with some of these longer days and the amount of sun that we've been getting. Expect the water temperatures to continue to rise and stay that way. Water level, officially, I'm just going to say that we're 0 Rumsey as of today. We're actually just a skosh above it, but for all intents and purposes, let's just call it 0. So the next report, we're going to be slipping down into negative numbers already, which is the pits for being in the middle of May, but hey, that's the way it is. So I'm going to need all of your help in the coming months, because sometimes I don't get everywhere. And if you were the first one to hear about a launch ramp closing, man, I'd sure appreciate it if you'd send me a comment, send me a text message, send me a message, send me something that just says, hey, I was just down at 5th Street launch ramp and they closed it today, or they closed it yesterday, whatever. If you'll help me, I'll be able to help the rest of you. I've had a number of people asking, because of this upcoming weekend, what are the conditions around the lake, especially water level. I went into the state park today for a couple clients to use the restroom, and I would just tell you, in my boat, which doesn't draft a whole lot of water, I went in on the trolling motor with my big motor trimmed out so I don't scratch it anymore, and I was fine. So getting in there, getting out of there, probably have 5 or 6 inches left. There's plenty of water around the docks in the state park. Once you get in there, you just can't launch. It's all closed off. So that's the information that I've got from that. I have no idea about going into the Keys I know that's going to be a big deal here this weekend and in coming weekends. I'm assuming, from what I've heard from a couple of people, you can still get in and out of there. I know the launch ramp is still functional, so as it breaks down today, the only launch ramps that are closed over in Nice, you've got Keeling Park. In Lucerne, you've got the Lucerne Boat Harbor, and then now the state park is closed. So we'll do our best to keep you posted on all that. Okay, circling back, water clarity. I'm sitting at about 7 feet of water right here, and I'm probably could see 6. Other areas, I couldn't see a foot. And the thing that impacted me the most this past couple of days fishing, and we had a pretty good bite going on last week, and then the water started really heating up, and the carp went nuts. And once the carp go nuts, especially along Lakeport shoreline or in some of the bays, they just make such a mess that you can't see anything. For the most part, I don't even think the fish stick around in there because of all the splashing, crashing, and mud they stir up. They also tear the living crud out of the grass beds, so there's a lot of grass floating around, which in the future is going to be really good. That floating grass will end up being a mat up against some tules somewhere or a dock, and you'll end up catching a frogfish off of it at some point. So water clarity all over the board. And just going back to one thing too with conditions, I had a couple days that I tried to fish down south, down below the Narrows, and I'm sick and tired of not catching fish and taking a beating with the wind. So I know there's a bite down there. I haven't found it. Not the lake's fault, not the fish's fault, it's my fault, but anyway, that's the way that goes. So those are your conditions. Activities this coming weekend, I don't see any activities that are planned or permitted, with the exception of, I'm sure there's probably some club tournaments, because there's always club tournaments on Clear Lake. But as far as any big organizations, nothing going on this weekend, so you get a free pass. I'll tell you, I don't know what's going to happen with the price of gas. The way the fishing isn't exactly, astounding. I don't know what it's going to be like up here. Today on Tuesday, I probably saw 6 different boats. There might have been more, but I ran around the entire upper end of the lake, and that's about all I saw today. So I think it'll be a normal Memorial Day weekend, which means craziness. Just be careful out there. Fishing wise, last week I was happy to report that I thought the bite improved a bunch, and actually almost got to the point of saying, hey, the bite's good. We still catching fish, but man, are we working harder for it. The bite that I had last week kind of went away when the carp started tearing everything up. We've done a mix of bedfish, cruising fish that are just in bedding areas, some finesse underspins, and by finesse underspins I'm talking about like 3/16 ounce owner, what the heck is it called? I may think it. Anyway, the one that you rig up weedless, that little dude. Some of you know what it is. And that was working pretty good for us. It just hasn't worked the last couple days. A few Cinco fish, but not as many as I thought we might be able to catch. I've got no pattern whatsoever. We're just random fishing. The best thing that I can tell you is run around, keep your eyes open. You go to an area that the water clarity is all messed up, don't stop and fish. Go find an area where it's clear. Somewhere where it's clear today, it may not be tomorrow. Somewhere that it's stained up today, it might not be tomorrow. So, if you have a good day on a spot, come back the next day and it's all messed up, don't be afraid to go back the next day. It's all going to depend on what the wind does and how you know, how it blows, how it stirs this stuff around. So we're still, you know, we had a slow day yesterday. I think we were around 10 fish. Today we were up in the 17, 18 fish range. Previous 2 days out, 20 to 25 fish. So good average size. Still not catching any fish under 14 inches. I mean, most of the fish are 2.5, 2 3/4, 3. No 4s. We did have one almost 6 last week, but that was it. And honestly, for all the running around I'm doing, I really haven't seen many fish any bigger than that. So there's your report for this week. Again, behave yourselves. If you don't, at least have a good time and be safe. And we'll catch you next week. Thanks.